All right, boys, it is time for another video. Are you excited? I'm excited. We're benchmarking Qwen 3.5 and we're benchmarking Qwen 3.5, 9B, and 4B. And we're going to see how well they can manage systems, gather information, build websites, and write scripts. This harness, small CTL, built by me, is an agentic harness that's meant to extend the functionality of small language models. Basically, it's meant to give them juice them up a little bit, spice things up a little bit, Just using them in LM Studio and prompting it back and forth is very boring. Getting them to do some work for you is, one, a lot more useful, and two, which in my opinion is a lot more important, is more cool. It's some sci-fi futuristic stuff. You tell the computer to do something, and then it does it. And you're not typing in commands. You're just speaking words to a natural human language. Ooh, futuristic. We're one step closer to Star Trek. Or maybe one step closer to cyberpunk. Either which way, the future is here. Appreciate it. And let's try to get this small model to work, right? Let's talk about the prompt. Let's see here. We'll start with something simple. I have set up a container on a remote host. We're going to ask this 9B model to go ahead and build a website for us. Let's go ahead and kick off the prompt. I might have to cut this recording short just because I'm trying to record while also running AI, and I don't have enough GPU compute to do both at once. So if the video gets choppy, excuse me. Or if I have to walk away because this is going to take like 30 minutes, also, excuse me. All right. So we have some alert messages kicking off from the harness. And token speed's not too bad. We're going to give it permission. And as you can see, okay. So now it's writing the file. So we'll give that a few seconds and we'll be back. So it stopped. Let's see if it actually managed to finish it. What happened here? Let's see. Oh, it's still going. Oh, I thought it froze for a sec. The joys of local AI and also the joys of my vibe coded harness. I'm definitely going to have to try to see what's going on. There was a lot of delay before the harness returned. But it did return. And let's see. Verified. Created. So it says it created it. Right? So we should be able to go to that IP at that URL, this URL on this IP and see what's going on there. Let's swap on over to Google Chrome. So we swapped over to the site and we got a 403 error. That is generally a permission error on the site file. So what we can do is hop on over and let's tell the model what to do. Let's see, set shade mod, set perms 600 on the file. We're getting a 403 error. And let's see if it keeps its sense about it while it tries to figure this task out. Let's see. Yes. So it said it. And let's hop back over to the site and reload. Ooh. All right, so 600 wasn't it. It's probably 644. Let's hop back on over here. And let's re-steer it again. And something I've noticed is that the 9B is much better about getting re-steer than the 4B. But you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. Let's give it one more prompt and see how it handles this. Third task. Set perms 644. all that file. 600 still gets 403. And if that doesn't work, we're going to be switching to a diagnostic session and we'll see how well this does. As you can see, I'm getting a decent token rate. I think this is probably like 20 to 30 tokens a second. Not the fastest, but definitely usable. Let's see here. So it says it's set the perms. Let's hop back on over to our site and reload. Oh, and look at that. It worked. So this is not a bad website from the 9B model here. Right? Look at that. I give this like a good, 6, 7 out of 10. Not bad. Could definitely use some refinement. It's a single page. It doesn't have a lot of details, right? But it does have animation. It does have title cards. The colors are nice. It's got a nice gradient. It does seem to have some information about small models. So for a good first draft, it's very nice. So not bad from the 9B. I'd say that's a good performance, right? The fact that it was actually able to do that while inside of the harness is impressive. And the reason I say that's impressive because we're about to try this with the 4B. And despite months of effort, I'm starting to realize there are some limitations to these models. I can't get Opus to run on my laptop. And this really, truly breaks my heart. Because imagine how, not even useful, just how cool that would be to have all the world's knowledge able to write scripts and program for you in your pocket. I mean, you already have that kind of with a cell phone, but the cell phone isn't enough. I don't just want my cell phone to be a cell phone. I want it to be semi-sentient. But Mr. Low Spec, I don't want my cell phone to be semi-sentient. Well, the alternative is it being fully sentient. Either which way, you're going to have to choose, okay? And I'd rather have a dumb smartphone than a smart smartphone, okay? But look, this video isn't about smartphones. This video is about small language models, right? Let's test 4B. So what we can do is we'll start a new session inside of the harness. Try this new feature. We'll restart a new chat. We will load a new model, which is going to be 4B. We're going to unload this model, scroll down a bit, shoot a quick hello, wait for the new model to load up. We are then going to paste our specially crafted prompt, forged by the finest of Tismo minds. And we send it off. And the one advantage to the 4B model is while it is not very smart, 60-40 chance of success here, if I'm being honest, even with all the tooling I've put in over the past couple months. They're not smart, but they are fast, right? So for research and discovery purposes, I think they're really shine, and you'll see what I'm talking about in the next couple prompts. We'll be back soon. I had to include this. This is a fail for the 4B. It didn't even get through the challenge. It got lost in the sauce, boys. It says I report then verify. You're looping. Slow down and reevaluate. Let's see if it can recover. Sometimes letting it know that it's gone off the rails. So we told it was looping and it stopped itself from looping. Let's see if it can figure out the prompt a second time. We'll give it a new chance. We'll start a new chat to clear the context history. We'll give it the exact same prompt a second time, and we'll see if it can make it through. And if it loops on this prompt, that's a fail for this one. That is not getting past that, So again, I feel like the harness kind of shows where the 4B and the 9B and these other models kind of shine. It's designed around the limitation. It notices. I did lots of testing to figure out where these small models failed with tool calls. And then I kind of tried to work around those failures or work with them in some cases. You know, I'll be like, it fails in this way. I can't stop it from failing in that way, but I can kind of flip it around on itself, right? And use it. It's not a bug, it's a feature now. So we're back, and second time's the charm, it seems. I'll give this a 50%. 2 tries to get it right ain't looking good. Or it might be a harness issue. I'm going to have to look through that this run log and see what happened. But second time it got it. Looks like it wrote to the file, right? First, let's see if it loads. It should have changed permissions at the end. And I believe this one was going to be called 4bmodel.html. Let's switch on over to our test site. We paste in our URL. And we got a 404 error telling us the page can't be found. Okay. Let's try it again. We're back on over to our harness. We type in a quick continue. We do another continue. Let's see. Can I invent new facts? Go inputs, current as human, no new facts. Okay. So basically 4B just failed it. It has no idea what's going on. That is a 0% for this task, or rather for this prompt, where we basically ask the model to remote into a server, build an HTML file, and change some permissions. You know, stuff, all of that probably would have taken us like an hour or two, or a couple hours to build an HTML file. Remoting in and changing perms would have taken 10, 15 minutes tops. That's a failure for 4B. 9B, congrats. Congratulations. That is it for this video, boys. Tune in tomorrow for part 2, where we test a couple more prompts. I like making longer videos, but I also didn't have to edit them. So this is my compromise. We'll be dropping parts. And if people don't like that, we might just go to me taking longer to put out videos. But we're trying new stuff. We'll see. Let me know. Tune in tomorrow for part 2 if you're interested. As always, thank you for watching. And tune in for part 2, next video, where we're going to try some harder prompts. You know, we're going to give it some programming challenges and see how the 4B and the 2B does. And after that, we'll try some sysadmin work, you know, changing configs, restarting services, debugging issues, trying to figure out what's wrong. And then we'll compare the results between those two. And then I might do a part 3, or maybe a whole new series comparing something like Qwen 27B versus, you know, Codex. 1 trillion parameter versus 27 billion, right? David versus Goliath. Anyways, if that sounds exciting for you boys, tune in next video. We're learning some cool shit here.